The topic what you're going to see today here is representation of functions. We have already seen what's a function and also how to do problems under functions here. So under this topic we'll be saying representation of functions. How do you represent a function, and then how do you test whether the given question, whatever it is, whether it is said to be a function or not, and the different types of functions. This is what you're going to see under this topic. So representation of function, if you see here, there are 4 ways of representing a given whatever it is, a relation as a function. The first one is a set of all ordered pairs. So what do you mean by saying a set of all ordered pairs here? F is equal to, I can write it as 1, 2. Next is what? 3, 4. This we call it as the set of all ordered pairs. Next is what? In the form of a table. So in the form of a table, how do I have here? Maybe I can have it as x f of x here. Here I'll have it as 1, 2. Here if you see, you have it as 3 and 4. This is in the form of a table. What's the next one you get here? It's an arrow diagram. So in an arrow diagram, what will I have it as? A and B. Here you have it as 1, 3. Here you have it as 2 and 4. So 1 is mapped on to 2 and 3 is mapped on to 4. This only we call it as an arrow diagram. The next one is what actually here in the graphical form. So in the graphical form, how do I write it here? This is the x-axis and this is the y-axis you get here. And you know how to plot it in a graph. Okay, so here how you plot it in a graph here. And then how do you do the graph? This is how the ordered pair, I'll just plot it here. That's all. Okay, so this is the graphical form. So how many ways are there in this case actually here? As I told you, there are 4 ways. One is an ordered pair, the other one is a table form, the other one is an arrow diagram, and the other one is by the graphical form. Now how do you check whether the given curve is said to be a function or not? That's what you're going to see here, the next one. For that we'll be using the vertical line test. So what do you mean by the vertical line test? For example, I have a curve like this. Okay, I have a curve like this. I want to check whether this curve is said to be a function or not. What I'll do is I'll just draw a vertical line here. So when I draw this vertical line, it meets only at one point. Therefore, what can I say here? It is said to be a function. That's what I have written here. A curve drawn in a graph represents a function if every vertical line intersects the curve in at most one point. You understood? So here a curve drawn in a graph represents a function if every vertical line intersects the curve in at most what point? Actually here in at most only one point it intersects. For example, I have a curve like this. And I draw a line, a vertical line. So when I draw a vertical line, what happens actually here? It meets only at 2 points it meets. Therefore, what do I say here? This given curve is not a function. Okay. Now here we'll go over to the next one, the different types of functions. So different types of functions, I've written the definition that's also clearly given there in your textbook. I'll just explain it with an arrow diagram here. Suppose I have a set here, A and then B. In the set A, I have it as A, B and C. Here I have it as 1, 2 and 3. A is mapped on to 1, B is mapped on to 2 and C is mapped on to 3. So if you see in this arrow diagram, all the elements in A, they have unique images. Okay, so here the image of A is nothing but 1, image of B is also 2, image of C is also nothing but equal to 3 here. So here if you see all the elements in the domain, they have unique images in the codomain or distinct images in the codomain. That only we call it as a one-to-one function. Okay, so here if you see in a one-to-one function, the another name for one-to-one function is nothing but injection. We call it as injection here. A function f from A to B is said to be one-to-one if distinct elements of A have distinct images in B, a one-to-one function. Now here the next one. What's the next one you have here? Many-to-one function. So what's a many-to-one function? Again, you have A and then you have B here. I have it as A, B and C. I have it as 1, 2 and 3. Suppose A is mapped on to 1, B is also mapped on to 1 and only C is mapped on to 3. So here if you see in this case, what happens actually here? The image of A and B are nothing but 1. Okay, so elements of 2 elements in the domain have the same image. Okay, that only we call it as a many-to-one function. And so that's what I have written here. A function f from A to B is called many-to-one if 2 or more elements of A have got same image in B. Okay. Now here the next one. What's the next one you're going to see here? What's an onto function? Okay, so here what's an onto function? What will you get here? A function f from a to b is said to be an onto function if the range of f is equal to the codomain. So here again I have two sets here, a and b, the codomain and the domain. I've got a, b and c here. You have 1, 2 and 3. So again I just map it like this. Okay, map it like this. So all the elements in the codomain, they have pre-images. Okay, so all the elements in the codomain, they have pre-images. In other words, I can say that the codomain is equal to the range. That's what you mean by saying here. That's what they have said here. The codomain must be equal to the range here. Okay, so here this one in the codomain must be equal to the range. We call it as an onto function. Suppose I have it like this. I have a, b. Okay, you have it as 1, 2 and 3 you have here. Suppose a is mapped on to 1 here, b is mapped on to b is mapped on to 2. Here if you see 3 doesn't have a pre-image. So in that case we say that it's not an onto function. Okay. Now this onto function, another name for it is nothing but surjection. We call it as surjection. Okay. Now here the next one. What's an into function? An into function, it's nothing but an example here I have given here. You have two sets a and b here. So in this case if you see here, all the elements in the domain will not have a pre-image. In the codomain will not have a pre-image. So here what I said I have here, a function f from a to b is called an into function if there exists at least one element in b which is not the image of any element of a. This only we call it as an into function. The next one is a bijection. So what is a bijection actually? A bijection is nothing but if a function is said to be 1 to 1 and onto, then we say that it is said to be a bijection. Okay, so it's a bijection. Got it? So a bijection is what? A function must be a 1 to 1 as well as it must be an onto function. What's the next one you get here? Horizontal line test. So what's a horizontal line test? If I want to check whether a given function is said to be 1 to 1, we go by the horizontal line test. Suppose I have a curve like this here. Okay, again a curve like this, and I have got a horizontal line. I draw a horizontal line. So if you see here the horizontal line, it meets only at one point. Okay, so if it intersects only at one point, we call it as the function is said to be 1 to 1. Got it? Now the next one is special cases of function. So what is a special cases of function? What's a constant function? So what's a constant function here? You have it as a, b and c. You have 1, 2, 3 here. A is mapped down to 2, B is mapped down to 2, C is also mapped down to 2 here. This we call it as a constant function. So here if you see, all the elements are mapped on to the same one. That only we call it as a constant function. Next is what? An identity function. So an identity function, if you see, you have it as 1, 2, 3. Here also I have it as 1, 2, 3. This is also 1, 2, 3. This is also 1, 2, 3. This we call it as an identity function. Now here the next one is what? A real valued function. So what's a real valued function? A real valued function is nothing but, okay, all the real elements in the domain. Okay, in the domain as well as the codomain, you must have only real values, and then such a function or a mapping we call it as a real valued function. So we'll just recap of the introduction, whatever I gave you under representation of functions. The first one, what did I tell you? How do you represent a function? How do you represent a function? By an ordered pair. Next is by a table. Next by an arrow diagram. And the next one is by graph. Okay. And then after that we saw whether how to check the given curve is said to be a function or not. So how do you check whether a given function, the curve is said to be a function or not? By the vertical line test we saw. And then after that we saw different types of functions. That's nothing but a 1 to 1. Next is what? Many to 1, on to and into function. So of these both, if you see, 1 to 1 and on to are very important for the exercise what we are going to do under this representation of functions. The other name for 1 to 1 function is what? Injection, and for an on to function the other name is nothing but surjection. If the function is said to be 1-to-1 and onto, then we call that as a bijection. Okay, we call that as a bijection. A function is said to be a bijection, we call. And then we saw some special cases of function. We saw constant function, identity function, and real valued function. So just now we saw the introduction for representation of functions and also the different types of functions. Now based on this, we'll go over to the next exercise here, exercise 1.4. Okay. So the first question under exercise 1.4, determine whether the graph given below represent functions. Give reason for your answer concerning each graph. Okay, so there are 4 graphs given. I'll have to check whether the given graph is said to be a function or not. So this is a question here. This is the graph given to you here. The curve drawn is like this. So here in the introduction part itself, I told you for a curve, whether it is said to be a function or not, what test will you use? Actually here you'll have to use the vertical line test. So what is a vertical line test here? See, using a pink pen I have drawn a vertical line on the curve here. Okay, so here I have drawn the vertical line. Now if you see here, this it meets at 2 points actually here. Okay, so here the vertical line, it touches the curve at 2 points. So if it touches the curve at 2 points, what will you say here? It is not a function. The graph must touch the curve only, sorry, the line must touch the curve only at 1 point and not at 2 points actually here. And therefore by vertical line test, what do I say here? This graph is not a function. Okay, a very simple one. And the curve, just draw the line. Okay. Now here coming over to the second one, second subdivision. Second subdivision, what is the curve given here? This is the curve given to us actually here. Okay, so here this is the curve given. I'll have to check whether this curve or graph is said to be a function or not. This is what I'll have to check here. So as usual, by vertical line test, you'll have to check whether it is said to be a function or not in this case. So how do I check in this case actually here? See here again, I have drawn a vertical line. So what is a vertical line you have here? Using a pink pen, I have drawn a vertical line here. Now if you see this vertical line, it touches the curve only at 1 point only it touches. Okay, so here the curve, it touches the vertical line only at 1 point. So since the curve touches the vertical line at only 1 point, by vertical line test, what can I say here? It is said to be a function. Got it? Okay. Now coming over to the third subdivision. So what's the third subdivision here? The third subdivision is nothing but this is the graph given here. The curve is in the form of a S shape actually here. Now we'll come to the solution part. See here again I have drawn the curve in this case. So here in the curve, either you take this side or this side. Anyway you draw a vertical line here. So I've drawn the vertical line here. So how many places does it meet actually here? The vertical line meets the curve at 1, 2, 3. So more than 1 point it meets the curve, the line, the vertical line, it touches the curve. So here if you see, how is it I have written the conclusion? The curve touches the vertical line at more than 1 point. Therefore, by vertical line test, what will I say here? It is not a function. Is it clear? Okay, so that's why I say that this graph is not a function. Got it? Now here, we'll go over to the last one here, the last question here under the first one, last subdivision. So what is it actually here? The fourth one. So what is the fourth one? What does it say actually here? This is the curve given to us. This is a question given to us. Now here, as I told you earlier, just draw a vertical line like how I have drawn here. Either the vertical line this side or the vertical line this side. So at how many places does it meet actually here? It meets at one place. This is the point it meets actually here. And therefore, what do I say here? The vertical line, it touches the curve at 1 point it is given here. Okay, so here the vertical line touches the curve only at 1 point. And therefore, by what test I can say that the given graph is a function? By vertical line test, we say that it is said to be a function. Okay, so these are just simple direct questions to check whether it is said to be a function or not. The given graph is said to be a function or not. Is it clear? Now comes the second question. So the second question, if you see here, it is nothing but you will have to represent the given function in the form of, how many representations are there? 4 representations are there. What we have seen in the introduction part. So what is given here? let f from a to b be a function defined by f of x is equal to x by 2 minus 1, where a is equal to 2, 4, 6, 10 and 12, b is equal to 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 9. Represent f by the set of ordered pairs, by a table, by an arrow diagram, by a graph. So in the introduction part itself, clearly I told you what is a set of ordered pairs, what is a table, what is an arrow diagram, etc. Everything I mentioned. Okay, so here by that we are going to see how we can represent it by a graph, by an ordered pair, and the next one is what actually here by the table, etc. So clearly, first of all, we'll write whatever is given in the question here. So we'll see what is given in the question. F from A to B is given here. So F from A to B is given. So what is your A equal to? A is equal to 2, 4, 6, 10 and 12. B is equal to 0, 1, 2, 4, 5 and 9. That's nothing but this is your domain and this is your codomain. By now you must be used to the terms here. What is a given function given? F of x is equal to x by 2 minus 1. Now we'll find out the mapping or the range here. For each values of the domain, I'll have to find out what is your f of x equal to. So each value of the domain is what? First we'll start with x is equal to 2. Only then I can go for any representation here. So what is the first one you have? X is equal to 2 I get. So when x is equal to 2, what will I have? F of 2. What is f of 2? It is equal to 2 by 2 minus 1. So what is 2 by 2 minus 1? It is equal to 1 minus 1 you get, which is equal to 0. The next one is what? X is equal to 4. So what will I have? F of 4. What is f of 4 equal to? It's equal to 4 by 2 minus 1, which is equal to 2 minus 1, that is equal to 1. The next one is what? X is equal to 6. So x is equal to 6, what will I get? F of 6 is equal to 6 by 2 minus 1, which is equal to 6 by 2 is what? 3 minus 1, which is equal to 2. Next is what? X is equal to 10. So x is equal to 10, what will I do? F of 10. What is f of 10 equal to? 10 by 2 minus 1 you will get. So what is 10 by 2 minus 1, which is equal to 5 minus 1, which is equal to 4. And the last one, x is equal to 12. So for x is equal to 12, what will I get? F of 12 you get, which is equal to 12 by 2 minus 1, which is equal to 6 minus 1 equal to 5. Now here we'll write it as an ordered pair. So when I write it as an ordered pair, how do I write it as an ordered pair? For x equal to 2, you get f of x is equal to 0. That's the first order pair. 2, 0. Next, for x is equal to 4, your f of 4 is equal to 1 here. So we write it as f again 4, 1. X is equal to 6. What will you get here? F of x is equal to 2. So we have written it as 6, 2. Next is what? For x is equal to 10, you get f of 10 equal to 4. So how do I write here? 10, 4. The next one, x is equal to 12, you get f of 12 equal to 5. So you write it as 12, 5. So you have written the ordered pair in this case. So what's the ordered pair you have here? 2, 0, 4, 1, 6, 2, 10, 4 and 12, 5. So after writing one, it's easy for you to write the other one, that is a table as well as the arrow diagram. So now here you take the table here. So write it as x and f of x. Now write, so for x2, f of x is 0. For x4, your f of x is 1. x6, your f of x is 2. x10, f of x is 4. And x is equal to 12, f of x is equal to 5 you have. Okay. Now the next representation. What's the next representation you get here? It's an arrow diagram. So when you write the arrow diagram, what will you do? First write the domain and the codomain values. So what is your set A given here in the question? Clearly it's mentioned. So what is it? A equal to 2, 4, 6, 10 and 12. B is equal to 0, 12, 4, 5 and 9. So I have written these two in the arrow diagram sets here. So A, 2, 4, 6, 10 and 12, 0, 1, 2, 4, 5 and 9. So 2 is mapped on to 0, 4 is mapped on to 1, 6 is mapped on to 2, 10 is mapped on to 4 and 12 is mapped on to 5. 9 doesn't have a pre-image, not a problem here, it's just representation. So I have represented it by an arrow diagram. Okay, so the third representation is also over. Now we'll go over to the next representation. What is the next representation? I told you in the introduction part, that's nothing but your graph. Okay, so here all of you, I think you know to plot the points in a graph here. So I've just plotted the points in a graph, the x-axis and the y-axis here, 1 to 12 with 1 unit measurement, and here again we have taken. Now here in this case it's 2, 0. So this is 2, 0, 4, 1. Next is what? 6, 2. The next one is what? 10, 4. And the last one 12, 5. So first plot the ordered pairs here and then draw a straight line. So this is a representation of a function. I hope you are clear with the representation. Ordered pair, table, and then what did we see? Arrow diagram and then a graph. So first if you write the ordered pair, the other ones just follow, that's all. You will have to just write it accordingly. Okay. Now again a similar one we'll see. What's the second question? Represent the function f is equal to 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4 through an arrow diagram, table form and graph. So only 3 because already they have given it in the form of an ordered pair only. The function is represented in the form of an ordered pair. So I'll have to just represent it by an arrow diagram, table and a graph. That's all. Okay. Now we'll just write the function. F is equal to 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3 and 5, 4. So first you need to know which is the domain and which is the codomain here. Okay. So what is a domain in this case? Domain elements. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That is your domain. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These are your domain elements here. Now what is the codomain elements? What will I get here? So what are the codomain elements? What will I get here? The codomain elements are 2. Again you have 2, again you have 2. So it's enough if I write it once. Here again it is 3 and then you have 4. This is your this one. Okay. Now we'll just represent it in an arrow diagram here. So what will I do here? You have written the set A. Maybe I'll just write this as A and this as B. We write it here. Now it is domain. What are the elements you get? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Here if you see you have it as 2, 3 and 4. The codomains you have only as 2, 3 and 4. Okay, this is not there. 2, 3 and 4 you get. So now we'll see the mapping. 1 is mapped on to 2. 1 is mapped on to 2. 2 is mapped on to 2. 3 is mapped on to 2. 4 is mapped on to 3 and 5 is mapped on to 4. You understood? So here this is the arrow diagram. So first be clarified with the domain and the codomain part and then draw the arrow diagram here accordingly. Now what's the next representation you have here? The next representation is nothing but by a table form you get here. So by a table form. So table form, what will you have here? First just write x and f of x will write here. So you know the domain, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So you know the ordered pair. 1 is mapped on to 2. 2 is mapped on to 2 here. 3 is mapped on to 2. 4 is mapped on to 3 and 5 is mapped on to 4. Okay, so here this is by using the table form you have here. Okay, so here x 1 to 2, 2 to 2, 3 to 2, 4 to 3 and 5 to 4. The next one is by graph. Okay, so here next one is by graph. What will you get here actually here? Next is by a graph. What will you do here? Just plot the x-axis and the y-axis you'll have to plot here. So you have 1, 2. This is 1, 2. Next is what? 2, 2 you get here. Next is what? 3, 2 you have. Next is what? 4, 3 and the last one 5, 4. So first plot the ordered pairs here, the points, and then draw the line here. Okay, so just connect the points by a straight line, that's all. Okay, so here we have represented by a graph, by a table form, as well as by, what is it here, a graph. Okay, so here first question we saw what was to be done. The second and the third question was representation of a graph we saw here. Now the fourth question onwards, what you're going to see here is check whether it is said to be a one-to-one or an onto function or whatever it is, or they may ask us what is the nature of the function or what type of function it is. Okay, so it's a very, very important one. So here we'll just read the question. Show that the function f from n to n defined by f of x is equal to 2x minus 1 is 1 to 1 but not on 2. Okay, I'll have to check it is said to be 1 to 1 but not on to. Again I'll just recall, 1 to 1 is what actually here? All the elements in the domain must have unique image. That is, the image must not be repeated there. Okay, it must have a unique image actually here. What's an onto function? All the elements in the codomain must have a pre-image. Very simple, okay, or else the codomain must be equal to the range. So what is the mapping defined here? The mapping is defined from natural numbers to natural numbers. So what is your natural number equal to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. It goes on. So these are the set of natural numbers. Now we'll start with what else is given here. Your function is given. What is your function equal to? F of x is equal to 2x minus 1. Okay, f of x is equal to 2x minus 1. Now put x is equal to 1. What will I get? 2 into 1 minus 1. So what is 2 into 1 minus 1? It is equal to 1. F of 2, what is it? 2 into 2 minus 1. What is it equal to? 3. The next one, f of 3, what will you get? 2 into 3 minus 1, which is equal to 5. F of 4, 2 into 4 minus 1, which is equal to 7. F of 5, which is equal to 2 into 5 minus 1, that is equal to 9. Etc. It goes on. Why it goes on actually here? Because a set of natural numbers, you know, it is said to be infinite actually here. So I've just written for 5, that's all. Okay. Now you will have to check whether it is said to be 1 to 1 or on to. So how is it you're going to check here? By using an arrow diagram. Okay, I'm going to draw the arrow diagram here and then we'll check. So how do I draw the arrow diagram in this case? This is how I've drawn here. You've got n of x 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. Here again n f of x, it is again equal to, again it goes on. This is how I have drawn the arrow diagram here. Now, you know, 1 is mapped on to 1, 2 is mapped on to 3, 3 is mapped on to 5, 4 is mapped on to 7, 5 is mapped on to 9. So as it goes on, all the elements in the domain, you take 7 or 8 or 9, it will have some image for sure, etc. Whatever elements in the domain, it will have some elements here, okay, some images here in the codomain. But if you see here, all the elements in the codomain, for example, if you take all even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, the next one 10, they don't have pre-images. If you see here, they don't, these are all not mapped. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, they are all not mapped actually here, so they do not have pre-images. So from this, what can I say here? Your f is said to be a one-to-one function but not a on-to function. So how I've written here, so I explained it, but how is it I've written? You see, different elements in x, there are different elements, images in f of x. Okay, so for different elements of x, there are different images. So I can say that f from n to n is said to be a one-to-one function. So what are the ranges? Range you get here. What's a range? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc. Okay, it goes on. Don't forget to write this etc. here. What's a codomain equal to? Codomain is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. It goes on. Is your range equal to the codomain? It's not equal. So your range is not equal to the codomain. So if the range is not equal to the codomain itself, I can say that it is one-to-one but not an on-to function. The next question. So the next question is also a similar one. You will have to check whether the given function is said to be a one-to-one or an on-to function. Okay, so what type of function it is. So what is given here? Show that the function f from the set of natural numbers to natural numbers defined by f of m equal to m squared plus m plus 3 is said to be a one-to-one function. So what is given here? F from n to n, that is a set of natural numbers to natural numbers, and the function defined is f of m is equal to m squared plus m plus 3 comma m belonging to n. So you know that the set of natural numbers, it starts from where? 1, 2, 3, etc. It goes on. Okay, so here it goes on here. Now we'll start with f of 1. So when I start with f of 1, substitute m is equal to 1. When you substitute it, what will I have? 1 squared plus 1 plus 3, it is equal to 5. Next is what? F of 2, what will I have? 2 squared plus 2 plus 3 when I substitute it. So it is 4 plus 2 plus 3, it is equal to 9. Next is what? F of 3. What is f of 3 equal to? 3 squared plus 3 plus 3. What will I have? It is equal to 15. What's the next one you get? F of 4. What is f of 4 equal to? 4 squared plus 4 plus 3. What will I have? 16 plus 4, it's 20. 20 plus 3 is what? 23. So again it goes on, etc. It goes on here, actually here, since it's a set of natural numbers. Now we'll draw the arrow diagram and then we'll check whether it is said to be a one-to-one function or not. Okay, so here this is what you're going to check in this case. Now here what have I done here in this case? Actually here I've just written n of x, n of f of x you have here. So this one is nothing but your f. Okay, so here how is that I have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Here again you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. In between I have written 9, 15 and 23. Whatever images I have got, I have just written it here. Okay, mentioned it in between, etc. etc. I have written. Now we will see whether it is said to be a one-to-one. Is it a one-to-one function? Yes. Why I say? Because all the elements in the domain, for sure it will have images. Because when I substitute, for sure I will get a natural number. Even when I substitute 5, you will have it as 5 square plus 5 plus 3 you will get. That's nothing but equal to 33 you will get. So for sure you will get a natural number as an image here. So all elements in x, there will be images in f of x you will have. Therefore I can say that it is a one-to-one function. Is it an on-to function? We will check. So for that I'll just write the range here. What's a range? 5, 9, 15, 23, etc. It goes on. Okay, since it's a codomain. What's a codomain? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. It goes on. Do they match or are they equal? They are not equal. So range is not equal to the codomain. Therefore I say that it's one-to-one but not a on-to function. Okay, so in that case what can I say? In other words, I can say that all the elements in the codomain, they do not have pre-images. That is also one reason we say that it's not a function. Is it clear? Okay. Now again another question. Okay, similarly based on it, the sixth one. So what does this your sixth one say? Let A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and B is equal to n. Okay, so here in this case A is defined as 1, 2, 3 and 4 and B is nothing but the set of natural numbers. Let f from A to B be defined by f of x is equal to x squared. Then I'll have to find out the range of f as well as identify what type of function it is. Okay, I'll have to identify whether it is a one-to-one or an into or an on-to or a many-to-one, what type of function it is. This is what I'll have to identify. Now, I'll just write what is given in the question. So, what is given in the question? Given f from A to B, that is what is given, and your f of x is equal to x squared. I have just written whatever is given in the question, f of x is equal to x squared. Okay. Now, for all elements in the domain, we just find out what are the elements in the codomain. This is what I'll have to check here. So, we'll start with the solution. You know A is equal to 1, 2, 3 and 4. B is equal to n. So, B is equal to n means what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. It goes on. This is what you have here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So, f from A to B is defined by f of x is equal to x cube. Sorry, it is equal to x cube. So, what is your f of 1? Okay, I'll have to just take the elements in the domain alone here. So, what are the elements in the domain? 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's all. So, when x is equal to 1, you will get 1 cube which is equal to 1. Next is what? X is equal to 2, you will get 2 cube which is equal to 8. X is equal to 3, you will get 3 cube which is equal to 27. X is equal to 4, you will get 4 cube which is equal to 64. So, what is the range you get here? The range is nothing but 1, 8, 27, 64. That's all you get here. Okay, so range is nothing but 1, 8, 27 and 64. This is your range you get for all the values in the domain here. Now, just take the set A here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Here you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. The set of natural numbers. So, because your B is nothing but equal to the set of natural numbers it is given. Now, we'll just map it. 1 to 1, 2 to 8, 3 to 27 and 4 to 64, etc. Okay, so if you see here, your range is equal to 1, 8, 27 and 64. Your codomain is equal to, what is it here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Naturally, these two are not equal. Therefore, what will I say? Your range is not equal to the codomain. Okay, so here, and also different elements in A have got different images. The images are also not repeated. Therefore, what can I say here? It is said to be one-to-one, but not an onto function. Okay, so it's a very easy part. I'll just tell you first. Know what is your domain, what is your codomain correctly, know what is your range also here, and then check whether it is said to be one-to-one or onto. Okay, or one-to-one not onto, or one-to-one and onto. Anything it can be. Alright. So here the seventh one. We'll go over to the seventh one. Again, as I told you earlier, hereafter all the problems are based only on the types of functions. Okay, mostly based only on the types of functions here. So with that thing in mind, we'll go over to the seventh question. So till now we saw the mapping between only natural numbers. Here we are going to see the mapping between real numbers, and in that a function is defined. There are two functions defined here. I'll have to check whether it is said to be bijective or not. This is what I'll have to check here. So you know what are real numbers actually. Real numbers, it can be positive, fractions, everything. You can 0, 1 by 2, etc. 0 minus 1 by 2, etc. it can have. Okay. So I'll just read the question here. In each of the following cases, state whether the function is bijective or not. Justify your answer. Okay. Now what's our question? First subdivision, f from R to R is defined by f of x is equal to 2x plus 1. Second subdivision, f from R to R is defined by f of x is equal to 3 minus 4x squared. So what is given here? F from R to R is defined by, the first subdivision we'll take here. F of x is equal to 2x plus 1. Got it? F of x is equal to 2x plus 1. As I told you earlier, since it is the set of real numbers, it is from R to R. My choice, how I have taken here, I'll tell you here. I have taken it as 0, 1 by 2, 1, 2, etc. Similarly, here left hand side, minus 1 by 2, minus 1, minus 2. This is how I have taken here. You can take any real numbers and then check it. This is how I have taken. Okay, so here we'll just try. Start with f of 1. So what is your f of 1 equal to? 2 into 1 plus 1, that is equal to 3. What is f of minus 1? That is equal to 2 into minus 1 plus 1. So it is minus 2 plus 1, which is equal to minus 1. The next one is what? F of 2. What is f of 2 equal to here? Your f of 2 will be equal to, what will I get here? Your f of 2 in this case. What is your f of 2 equal to? Actually here your f of 2 will be nothing but equal to 5. Okay, so here this is how I have taken here. F of 1 is 3, f of half, what will I get? 2 into 1 by 2 plus 1, what will I get? It is equal to 2. F of 0, what is f of 0? 2 into 0 plus 1, which is equal to 1 you will have. F of minus 1 by 2, what will I have? 2 into minus 1 by 2. So this gets cancelled here. Minus 1 plus 1, that is equal to 0. F of minus 1, what is f of minus 1? It is equal to 2 into minus 1 plus 1, which is equal to minus 1. F of minus 2, 2 into minus 2 plus 1, which is equal to minus 3. You understood? How is that I have taken? As I told you, 0, 1 by 2, 1, 2, etc. Minus 1 by 2, minus 1, minus 2, etc. This is how I have taken the elements in the domain, because it is defined from f from R to R. Now we'll see the arrow diagram here. This is the arrow diagram. Now if you see, 0 is mapped to 1, 2 is mapped to 1 here, 1 is mapped to 3, and the next one, half is mapped to 2. Here again, minus 1 by 2 is mapped to what? Actually a 0. So if you see here, all the elements in this domain will have images. They will have different images. And also one more thing, if you see here, all elements in this also will have pre-images. There will be no element left in the code domain without a pre-image. If you want, you can check with so many numbers. You can take any fractions or anything you want. So all the elements in the code domain will have pre-images. So in other words, I can say that this is equal to the range. That is, your code domain is equal to the range. That is what I have mentioned here. So what is that I have mentioned? Different elements in the domain have different images in the code domain. With that, I can say that it's a one-to-one. Next, what is that I have written? Range is equal to the codomain. Therefore, what can I say? F is 1 to 1 and on to, and if it's 1 to 1 and on to, in the introduction part itself I told you F is said to be a bijective function, or it's said to be a bijection. Okay, what's a bijection? It is 1 to 1 and on to. This is what you have here. Okay, so it is said to be 1 to 1 and on to. Is it clear? Okay. Now, we'll go over to the next question. Okay, the second, the 8th one here. So here the 8th one is another interesting one here. Earlier they asked you to show whether it is said to be a 1 to 1 or an on to function, or whether it's a bijection. In this question it's not like that. What is that they have given is, they have told us it's said to be an on to function. Okay, that is F is said to be an on to function, it is given. So if F is on to, I'll have to find out the unknown values A and B. That is what is given in this question. So I'll just read the question. Let A be equal to minus 1 comma 1 and B equal to 0 comma 2 you have here. If the function f from A to B defined by f of x equal to ax plus b is an onto function, find A and B. Okay, I'll have to check. This is said to be an onto function. I'll have to find out what is A and B here. So you know that if it's said to be an onto function, your minus 1 will be to 0 and 1 will be to 2, because all the elements in the codomain will have a pre-image. Now it is given that f is onto, and what is your f of x given? It is equal to ax plus b. So what do you mean by saying here f is said to be the mapping here? So you will get f of minus 1 is equal to 0. So what will I have? F of minus 1 is equal to 0 you get here. So a into minus 1. So a into minus 1, what will I have? Plus b, which is equal to 0. A into minus 1 is what? Minus a plus b equal to 0. So this I have written it as the first equation. Now what's the second one given here? Your f of 1 is equal to 2. That is 1's image is what? It is equal to 2. So f of 1 is equal to 2 you have here. Now substitute it in ax plus b. What will I have? A into 1 plus b is equal to 2. So what can I write here? A plus b is equal to 2. Now we'll just solve these two equations. Minus a plus b is equal to 0. A plus b is equal to 2. Cancel it off. You will get it as 2b equal to 2. So what's the value of b you get? It is equal to 1. Got it? Now to find out the value of a, we'll just substitute it in any one of the equation. So when I substitute it in the equation, the first one here, minus a plus 1 is equal to 0. So you will get minus a equal to minus 1, and therefore a is equal to 1. That's all. Is it clear? Okay, so here this is what you have here. How to find out the values of a and b when f is said to be an onto function. You understood? So again, if you see the split up in this case, first question we checked whether it is said to be a function or not. The second and the third one, representation. The next one, fourth to the seventh one, what was it? What type of function it was? The 8th question, the type of function was given, and they were asked you to find out what is it actually, the values a and b. Okay. Now we'll go over to the 9th question. So the 9th question is also another slightly different one here. 9th question. If the function f is said to be defined by f of x is equal to, it is given in different intervals here, x plus 2 if x is said to be greater than 1. This is the first interval. 2 if minus 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1. And it is equal to x minus 1 if minus 3 less than x less than minus 1. So read the question correctly, because your less than as well as less than or equal to part, it's very important. See whether it is less than or equal to. You'll have to find out the values of f of 3, f of 0, f of minus 1.5, f of 2 and f of minus 2. Okay. So here we'll see. It's a very easy one only here. You'll have to just identify it falls in which interval. That is the first thing you'll have to identify here. So here we'll see how we can identify it falls in which interval here. Okay, so that is the first step as I told you. So here, how is it you will identify? So we identify by given f of x is equal to x plus 2 if x is greater than 1, 2 if minus 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1, and x minus 1 if minus 3 less than x less than minus 1. This is what is given here. Okay. So we'll start with f of 3. So f of 3, it lies in which interval you see? X greater than 1. So if x greater than 1, what does it mean actually here? So here if you see here, you have 1. So x greater than 1, it is 2, 3, etc. it goes on. So for x greater than 1 means I can also take f of 3 falls in this interval. So what is your f of x equal to here? X plus 2. So for x greater than 1, your f of x is equal to x plus 2. So in that case, I'll have to find out what is your f of 3, the function. So what is your f of 3 equal to? 3 plus 2, which is equal to 5. So here, first see your x lies in which interval and then take corresponding function here. Okay. Next is what? F of 0. So f of 0 does not fall here because it is x greater than 1. Coming over to the second interval. So what's the second interval you get here? Minus 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1. So it means that 0 lies in between, and also it is like this. This is how you get here minus 1, 0, and then you have 1. This is how you have here minus 1, 0 and 1. So here in this case your 0, it lies in which interval? Minus 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1. So at that point, what is your f of x equal to here? It is equal to 2. So what is your f of 0? That is also equal to 2. Understood? So here this is your second subdivision. Now coming over to your third subdivision here, f of minus 1.5. So what is f of minus 1.5? So where does your f of minus 1.5 lie? Actually here it will lie here, f of minus 1.5. So naturally it lies outside this interval. So this is also not there. This is also not there. So I'll have to go to which one? The third one. The third one, what have you got? Minus 3. Okay, so here you will get minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. So where is your f of minus 1.5? F of minus 1.5 is between minus 1 and minus 2. So it lies in which interval here? It lies in the interval minus 3 less than x less than minus 1. So what is your f of x equal to? It is equal to x minus 1. So what is f of minus 1.5? They have asked us to find out what is f of minus 1.5. So what is it equal to? Minus 1.5 minus 1, which is equal to minus 2.5. You understood? Okay. Now coming over to the next one, f of 2 plus f of minus 2. So what is f of 2 plus f of minus 2? F of 2, it lies in which interval? We'll check. X greater than 1. So x greater than 1 means it lies here. So if it lies there, what will I write? F of x is equal to x plus 2. So what is your f of 2 equal to? F of 2 is equal to 2 plus 2, that is equal to 4. Got it? Next is what? F of minus 2. Just now we saw. It lies within which interval here? Minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. Sorry, that's all you have here. Minus 3 to minus 1. So it lies between where actually are minus 3 and minus 1. So minus 3 and minus 1, what is the function you get here? X minus 1. So what will I write? F of minus 2 is equal to x minus 1. So substituting x is equal to minus 2, you will get it as minus 2 minus 1. So what is f of 2 plus f of minus 2? What is it equal to? 4 minus 3, which is equal to 1. Understood? So here, this is how you will have to find the function from between, it lies between which interval. You will have to check, write the corresponding function and write the answer. Alright. Now, your 10th question. So, our 10th question is also a similar one. Okay, so here if you see, the function is defined here, okay, in the interval. So here if you see, the domain is what? From minus 5, 9 to r it is defined. So it is defined like this. 6x plus 1 if minus 5 less than or equal to x less than 2. Okay, 5x squared minus 1 if 2 less than or equal to x less than 6. Next is what? 3x minus 4 if 6 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 9. So they have asked us to find out, okay, f of minus, we'll go subdivision by subdivision here. F of minus 3 plus 2. So first we'll take f of minus 3. So where does your f of minus 3, where does it lie? take the first interval. So when I take the first interval, what have you got? It's minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, and then you get minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1 and 2. This is how you get. So this is your minus 5 and this is your 2. Minus 5 and 2. So does your, what is it here? Minus 3, does it lie between minus 5 and what will you get here? It's 2. Yes. Where do you get here? It lies with minus 3. So which function is it actually a 6x plus 1? So where will I substitute actually here? F of minus 3, it is equal to 6 into minus 3 plus 1, which is equal to minus 18 plus 1 equal to minus 17. Understood how I write? Okay. Next is f of 2. So f of 2, it's clearly mentioned here. 2 less than or equal to, it is mentioned. So if it is less than or equal to, what does it mean actually here? 2 is included here. Don't consider this 2 because it is only less than 2. 2 is not included here. Okay. So 2 less than or equal to x less than 6. So in the at x is equal to 2 means what is your f of x equal to? F5x squared minus 1. So substitute it here. 5 into 2 squared minus 1. So what will you get? 5 into 2 squared minus 1 is equal to 5 into 4, 20 minus 1, which is equal to 19. Now we'll find out what is f of minus 3 plus 2. What is f of minus 3 plus 2? Minus 17 plus 19, that is equal to 2. You understood? If it's confusing for you, just draw a line like this and then write the number line and check whether the number lies between which interval here, whether minus 5 and 2 or 2 and 6 or 6 and 9. So it will be easy for you. Next is what? F of 7 minus f of 1. So f of 7, will it lie between minus 5 and 2? No. Okay, because minus 5, minus 4. Now, will it lie between 2 and 6? No, it's beyond 6. Now, you take 6 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 9. So, it is 6, 7, 8 and 9 you get here. So, it lies between 6 and 9. This is what you get here. So, what is your f of 7? F of 7 is equal to, so what is your function you get here? 3x minus 4. When x is equal to 7, you get f of x to be equal to 3x minus 4. 3 into 7 minus 4. So what is 3 into 7 minus 4? What will you get? 21 minus 4, which is equal to 17. Correct? Now f of 1. Now check it lies between which interval. More or less I have drawn the real line for both the intervals here. Here you have got the first one between minus 5 and 2. For sure, where does your 1 lie? It lies between minus 5 and 2 here. So what is your f of x? It is equal to 6x plus 1. So when I write x is equal to 1, what will you get? 6 into 1 plus 1, which is equal to 6 plus 1 equal to 7. Now we'll find out what is f of 7 minus f of 1. It is equal to 17 minus 7, which is equal to 10. Got it? Okay. Now here the third subdivision. What's the third subdivision you have? 2 into f of 4 plus f of 8. So here your f of 4. Where does your f of 4 lie? Not here because it stopped with 2 here. Okay, so here for sure it will not lie between minus 5 and 2. Between 2 and 6? Yes. Between 2 and 6, if you see here, between 2 and 6. So it is 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So it is 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 6. It lies between 2 and 6. So when it lies between 2 and 6, what's your function here? 5x squared minus 1. So when I substitute it, what will I get? F of 4 is equal to 5 into 4 squared minus 1, which is equal to 16 into 5. What is it? It's 80 minus 1, which is equal to 79. Next is what? You'll have to find out what is f of 8. So f of 8 lies between which interval? It does not lie between minus 5 and 2. It does not lie between 2 and 6 also here. Okay, so here it lies between what actually? 6 and 9 because 6, 7, 8 and 9. So it lies between 6 and 9. So here between 6 and 9, what is your f of x? It is equal to 3x minus 4. So what will I write? F of 8. It is equal to 3 into 8 minus 4, which is equal to 24 minus 4 equal to 20. Now we'll just calculate it. 2 into f of 4 plus f of 8 is equal to 2 into, what will I have here? It is 79. 2 into 79. What will I have? 79 into 2, it is equal to 158 plus 20 you get, which is equal to 178. This is your answer, correct? Now the fourth subdivision, last one here, we'll have to find out what is 2 into f of minus 2 minus f of 6 divided by f of 4 plus f of minus 2. So we'll find out that. First step is to find out what is f of minus 2. So your minus 2, it lies between which, it lies in which interval here? Minus 5 to 2. Yes. So see the interval I've drawn here. Minus 4, 5, minus 4, minus 3 and minus 2. So your minus 2, it lies in this interval. In this interval, what is your function f of x? It is equal to 6x plus 1. So here I can just write it as 6x plus 1 you get here. So I will write it as f of minus 2 is equal to 6 into minus 2 plus 1. So it is minus 12 plus 1, which is equal to minus 11. Got it? Now here the next one. What's the next one you get here? F of 6. So f of 6, if you see here, you have 2 less than or equal to x less than 6. It is only less than 6 here. So your 6 is not included in this case. So 6 is not included. But when you see in the next interval, it is 6 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 9. So what does that mean? Your 6 is included here. So what is your function? It is 3x minus 4. So what is your f of 6 equal to? 3 into 6 minus 4, which is equal to 18 minus 4, 14. Got it? Next is what to find out what is f of 4. So what is your f of 4 actually here? F of 4, it lies between what? Not within this interval. Upper limit, it stops 2. Now come to this one. 2 and 6. Yes, 4 lies between this interval 2 and 6 here. So what is your f of x? It is equal to 5x squared minus 1. So when I substitute it, what will I get? F of 4. So what is f of 4 equal to? 5 into 4 squared minus 1, which is equal to 79. Got it? So here it is equal to 79. Now we'll just calculate it. 2 into f of minus 2 minus f of 6 divided by f of 4 plus f of minus 2. It is equal to 2 into minus 11 minus 14 divided by 79 minus 11. So what will I have? It's minus 22 minus 14 divided by 68, which is equal to minus 36 by 68. Now when I simplify it, what will I get? It is equal to minus 9 by 17. I hope you're clear with these two type of questions here. How you will have to find out your function f of whatever it is from the given interval. Got it? Now the next question. So here the next question, the 11th one. Again, it's only a very simple question. You will have to check whether the given function, it's only an application one they have given here. Okay, earlier if you saw, the functions were given to you explicitly there and they asked you to check whether it is 1-to-1 or on-to or whatever it is. But here it's just an application one. Okay, the expression is given in terms of acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so whatever is given here, and you will have to check whether it is said to be 1-to-1 or not. This is what I'll have to check. So I'll read the question for you. What is the question? The distance s an object travels under the influence of gravity in time t seconds is given by s of t is equal to 1 by 2 gt squared plus at plus v, where g is the acceleration due to gravity. A comma b are constants. Verify whether the function is said to be 1-to-1 or not. Okay, I'll have to check whether your s of t is said to be 1-to-1 or not. So what is given here? S of t is given. You know what is a 1-to-1 function. What's a 1-to-1 function? For all the elements in the domain, you must have some image here. That's all. So S of t is equal to 1 by 2 gt squared plus at plus v you get. T is equal to 1, 2, 3 etc. seconds you've got. So okay, I've just taken it here because I can start a minimum with 1 second, 2 seconds only I can start here. So I have started with 1. Got it? So S of 1. So when I substitute S of 1 here, you will get it as 1 by 2 g into 1 square plus a into 1 plus v. That's nothing but 1 by 2 g plus a plus v you will get. Now what's the next one? S of 2. It is equal to 1 by 2 into g of 2 the whole squared plus a into 2 plus v. So 4 this gets cancelled. So 2g plus 2a plus v. What's the next one? S of 3. What is S of 3? 1 by 3 g into 3 the whole square plus a into 3 plus v. This also gets cancelled. So it is 3g plus 3a plus v. Got it? Now if you see these expressions, this is also different, this is also different, this is also different. So for different values of 1 you will get for sure different images. For 1 you will get one image, depending on the values of A and B you will get one image. Similarly on for 2 also you will get another image, 3 also you will get only another image. So what can I say here? I can say that it is said to be 1 to 1 because for different values of t we get different images. Therefore f is said to be 1 to 1. You understood? Okay. So here instead of giving it as f of x, they have just given it as s of t. That's the only difference you have. Got it? Now the next one is also another application side problem under this functions part you have here. Okay. So here they have not asked us to show whether it is 1 to 1 or 1 to or etc. anything like that. They have asked us to find out the temperature. That's all. Okay. So here at different points they have asked us to find out. So first of all we'll read the question here. So here when you read the question we'll see what you get here. So what is the question you have? The function f for f which makes temperature in Celsius into temperature in Fahrenheit is defined by T of 0 is equal to 5. Okay, so here which maps temperature in Celsius into temperature in Fahrenheit. The conversion is given, nothing else. Okay, the conversion formula is given to you by T of 0 is equal to f, where your f is equal to 9 by 5 C plus 32. You all know what is f stands for. It stands for Fahrenheit and C stands for Celsius. So you'll have to find out the first one T of 0. Second one is what? T of 28. Next is for T of minus 10. Now the value of C when T of C is equal to, what is it here? 212. Okay. And the last one, the temperature when the Celsius value is equal to the Fahrenheit value. So we'll see what we can do here. The first subdivision. What is given here? You'll have to find out T of 0. In the question clearly they have mentioned your T of 0 is equal to F. So if T of 0 is equal to F, what will you get here? Your F. What is your F equal to? 9 by 5 C plus 32. So it means that your C is equal to 0. When I substitute it, what will I get? 9 by 5 into 0 plus 32, which is equal to 32 degree Fahrenheit. You understood? So here this is equal to 32 degree Fahrenheit. Your T of 0 is nothing but when your Celsius is 0, here if you see it is equal to the Fahrenheit. That's what we mean by saying. Next, they've asked us to find out T of 28. So what is your T of 28? That's nothing but C is nothing but 28. It is equal to F. So what will I write? 9 by, what will I have here actually here? So here T of C. So 9 by 5 into 28 plus 32. So what is 28 into 9? It is 252 by 5 plus 32. So what is 252 divided by 5? It's 50.4 plus 32, which is equal to 82.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Next is for the same way T of minus 10. So what is your C equal to here? C is equal to minus 10. And you know what is your F equal to? 9 by 5 into minus 10 plus 32. Cancel it. You will get it as minus 18 plus 32. What is it? It's 14 degree Fahrenheit. So the first three subdivisions more or less they are the same. Now coming over to the fourth subdivision. What's the fourth subdivision here? The value of C when T of C is equal to 212. So the value of C, what is your T of C actually here? Your T of C is equal to 212. Okay, so T of C is equal to 212. So in that case, what will you do here actually here? So your T of C, what is your T of C equal to? Your T of C is nothing but 9 by 5C plus 32. Substitute it here. 9 by 5C plus 32, which is equal to 212. Now taking it to the other side, what will I get? 212 minus 32, it is equal to 180. Now here your C is equal to, cross multiply it, it's 180 into 5 by 90, that is equal to 100 degrees Celsius. Now what's the fourth subdivision? The fourth subdivision, what is the question given here is the temperature when the Celsius value is equal to the Fahrenheit. So the temperature when the Celsius is equal to Fahrenheit, what does it mean? Your C is equal to F. You know that F is equal to 9 by 5 C plus 32. So here substitute your F is equal to C. That's what I have substituted here. C minus 9 by 5 C is equal to 32. Take C common here. 1 minus 9 by 5 which is equal to 32. So you will get it as C into cross multiply 5 minus 9 by 5 which is equal to 32. C into minus 4 by 5 which is equal to 32 you get here. When you take the LCM and simplify, cross multiply it. C is equal to 32 into 5 by minus 4. So it gets cancelled here. So finally what's the answer you get? It is equal to minus 40 degree Celsius.